Well, good Tuesday evening to you. Chris Hare here, the world champion crypto cowboy, bringing you that nightly Bitcoin update. And it looks like we may be getting set up for a run. How far and for how long is yet to be determined, but we're going to break it down tonight. And I think you're going to want to see that weekly chart. I saw something pretty interesting. I left some drawings on the chart, and we're going to go over it. We're going to figure out where we're going over the next 24 to 48 hours. And then we'll get into the longer term targets and figure out exactly what I think is going on. But let's go ahead and get into it. We'll start off with the crypto fear and greed index, just like we do every single video. Currently in extreme fear, dropped down from 24 today. Not surprising with the pullback we've had over the last 24 hours, but we've made a really nice recovery. So what I use this for is the old verbiage of buy fear, sell in greed. That's exactly what I do. And if you're not very experienced at trading, I figured out this is kind of it's not really fail safe, but it's an easier way to do it. I use Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum. I use the bigger coins. But when they drop into fear, I buy a little bit. When they drop into extreme fear, I buy a little more. And every time we drop back into extreme fear, I'll buy just a little more. And I'll keep doing that and repeating it until we come out. And then when we get up into greed, I start selling it off. When we get to extreme greed, I'll sell it out. And I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. If BTCC will load, this is a BTCC exchange. And I've got about $400 tied up in Bitcoin, Solana, and Ethereum right now. Currently down about $11. I'll probably add just a little more since we are in extreme fear. But if you need a good exchange to trade on, BTCC is outstanding. They've got a really good deposit bonus special going on right now. 10% cash back on up to $100,000. You put 100 grand in, you get 10 grand back. It's free money, yours to keep. But you also get better exchange trading fees using the link in my description. Go ahead and check it out. Moving out to a liquidation heat map. This is where I start my day, and I check it before I do any of my trading. This is what market makers use to track your liquidity on your short and long trades. They don't really use TA. They manipulate the charts by chasing after those long and short trades. Everything above price action is a short trade. Everything below price action is a long trade. And cumulatively, right now on a shorter range of weekly, we've got about $870 million worth of short trades on the books and about $1.25 billion worth of long trades on the books. So the imbalance is to the downside. We do have a bright pocket of liquidity sitting here right here at about 86,000. It's been there for a couple of days now, but it kind of looks like they're coming up to grab this liquidity up higher, all the way up to about $91,000. Looking out on a weekly, on a 1 year Bitcoin liquidation heat map, this gives us just a macro picture of where the liquidation points are. I think they're coming up here to grab this one, like I said, around 91,000. There's another one at 92. And then it's a little ways up. You know, there's some around 100, 107, 108, 119. But cumulatively, about $11.16 billion worth of short trades on the books and about $3.84 billion. So it's about the same as it was. But like I said, I think it's time to go after some top side liquidity. We'll break it down in the charts. I do post all these charts in the crypto school. You'll find a link to that in my description. But we'll get into the hourly chart now, and we'll figure out exactly what's going on. Like I said, we had that pretty big pullback overnight and into the day. And then we found support yesterday, actually, and we've kind of worked our way up. We got a hard rejection out of this golden zone, but we came back down and found support on these 50 moving averages, and we've been moving up ever since. I think we can probably do away with the daily retracement or the 1 hour retracement zone for now. So we're working on the impulsive target. Let me go ahead and delete this. It's going to make it easier for you to see. So you can see we've cleared equilibrium on our swing high to swing low. Let me adjust this just a little. There. Now we've got a better picture. Okay. We're headed back up towards this golden zone, 88,000 to 843 to 89,520. What we need to do is we need to consolidate up in here, try to hold it, and then we can work on the upside. You can see the daily 50 smoothing simple moving average is right here at about 89,881. That's going to be our next feat to get over. We've rejected off of it once, but it looks like it's recharged, recoiled the spring, and now it wants to try again. If we can get up over that daily 50 moving average and successfully retest, I think 91,480 to 92,876 is on the table. That's what the liquidation heat map showed. So it makes a lot of sense. If something happens, we reject out of this golden zone, lose the retracement zone, then I think we're headed down. Your first stop's going to be this weekly 50 smooth moving average at about 85,964. If you lose that, I think you're headed down 85,268, 83,948 to get you started. Moving out to a 4-hour chart, we'll kind of get a bigger move of what's going on. You can see since we bottomed out on November 21st, we made this pretty good run up. Now we've came back and we've retested this retracement zone. You can see the yellow trend line here. When we get out on the macro charts, it's going to make a lot more sense. But we've been using it as support every time we bounce. We've successfully cleared the 4-hour simple and smooth moving average. That does make me a little more bullish. Like I said, your next stop is to get over this daily 50 at 89.8. And then I think you have an opportunity for 98.29 to 92.550. If something happens, we reject this daily 50 again, and we don't bounce off of this trend line, then, like I said, I think your targets are down here at the weekly 50 smooth moving average, sitting at about 85,939. Moving out on the daily, we'll get the big picture of what's going on since we've had that terrible pullback that started right around October 5th on into the flash crash of October 11th. It looks like we finally completed our downside for a while. We're finding support in this daily retracement zone. And you can see this trend. We started here and we're touching it and we're finding support on it. So I've drawn it all out. When we get to the weekly, it's going to make more sense, but let's get through the daily chart first. Get over this daily 50 moving average. Then I think then your next stop is going to be to get over out of the 618 at 93,992. Your 50 smooth moving average in white may be down there about that time, and we'll have to get over that. This bearish fair value gap, if we can get over that retest, I think it's not quite as relevant. We're going to need to get over about 98.2 before we can think about 108 to 116. I'm kind of confident in this. I would say 60%, 70%, that we might have an opportunity to get here. If this is in fact a wave one, it measures out right up to that target. So it's going to be interesting to see. If something crazy happens here and I've got this all completely wrong and we lose this trend line, like I said, if you lose 80,000, I think you're headed on down to 60 to 42,000. There's a head and shoulders there, and the target's going to be about $50,000. Moving out to the weekly chart, you can really see what I was talking about. There's been a trend that we've made here. We've got 3 touch points on that. 3 touch points make a trend. But you could also see through the hourly, the 4-hour, the daily chart, we're finding support on this trend as well. We've talked about these in the past. Market makers really like to fill out about 80% of these pennants if that's in fact what we've got going on. That puts us at 139 to 156,000. We'll take that day to day, but I do think 105 to 114 might be on the table if you can get over this daily 50 smooth moving average and your weekly 50 simple moving average at about 101,937 to about $98,000. I think those are your targets. You've got to get over those to advance up to this weekly golden zone, and then some really crazy things have to happen for us to think about this 139 to 156. But I am getting a little more bullish. I do think there's some upside coming, and I think it's halfway significant. Not just a brief pump or a dead cat bounce. I think we're actually going to move up for a little while here. So New Year's Day rally kind of looks that way. Hopefully I'm right. But let me know what you think. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Tap that bell notification and leave us a comment. It helps the YouTube algorithm, and I really enjoy hearing from you people. I'd really like to hear what you think about this. I want to get excited, but I'm cautiously optimistic here. But I'm going to wrap it up. We'll circle back around tomorrow night, try to figure out exactly what's going on again. Chris Hare, the world champion crypto cowboy. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you down the road.